Hello, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about how parents fuel sibling rivalry among their children. Do you know that majority of the time that children have issues among themselves, that parents contribute to it? Yes, you heard me right. There are so many ways we parents fuel rivalry among our children without even knowing. Sometimes it is intentional, sometimes it's unintentional, but it doesn't change the fact that it happens. So let's quickly dive into how parents encourage sibling rivalry among their children. Number one is that tops the list is comparison. Whenever parents begin to compare their children with each other, you compare your first son with your second son, you compare the first child with the second child, or the second child to the first child, you are creating and fueling rivalry among them. And don't be surprised when it begins to affect the relationship that they should have within themselves. So parents contribute to sibling rivalry among their children by comparing their children. Secondly is by favoritism. You are favoring one child above the other. It is one of the greatest enemies of raising children who should work together and love themselves. When you begin to favor one child above the other, for whatever reason you have, you are going to be fueling sibling rivalry among your children. The third thing is creating trophy child out of a particular child. What do I mean? A trophy child is a child that is being praised all the time, that has it all put together, the prim and proper child that never makes mistakes and gets all the awards in school, that comes tops of class, that is just well behaved and all of that, while the rest are just there, to complete the number. When you make a child a trophy child out of any of your children, you're going to be creating rivalry among them. And I'm going to tell you what to do instead. So stay on this video. The number 4 thing that parents do is by giving attention to one and not giving attention to the other. When your children need your attention, of course, children thrive and need attention from their parents at all times. So when your children are misbehaving, it could be as a result of wanting attention. So if they don't get the positive attention, they will seek the negative attention. So if you're not coming to play with them, they can force you to start shouting and you've given them attention, right? It's still better than no attention at all. So children would rather have negative attention from you, the parents, than not having any attention at all. So check yourself if you are fueling this in your children. The 5th point is playing the judge and jury for your children. So let me explain. When your children have issues, maybe they are fighting and you want to intervene, and now you're saying, oh yeah, sit down. Who did this one? Who did that one? They finish explaining and say, you are the one that is wrong. You are not wrong. Whenever you start playing the judge and jury for your children, you're going to be fueling rivalry without even knowing. So never play the judge and jury for your children when they have issues. Rather, teach them how to resolve their issues among themselves and do not intervene. Will you step in at some point? Of course you will. But if you are always making it your point of duty to always step in and say, yes, you are the one that did this one, you are not your children are going to be depending on you at all times to resolve their conflict. And trust me, you're not going to be there all the time. That is why you need to up your game to build the skills that will help them to resolve their issues by themselves. Now, how do you begin to step back from fueling rivalry among your children? The first thing you need to know is that your older children are not an authority in your home. They are not your co-parents. They're not your assistant parents. So when your children who are the firstborn or the secondborn are beginning to act like a parent or begin to assert authority over the other children, then there is something wrong somewhere. You could have given them that wings and that authority. So never make any of your children an authority in your home. Your children are all equal. There should be equity. Of course, there is respect, there is hierarchy. But when you make the first child an authority, it puts pressure on that child to behave a certain way or to, exonerate from their issues or from the problem that they fall into. Secondly, it also makes the younger ones to feel being unfairly treated. So they feel, oh, you can get away with it. Hey, brother, is this one? That's why you see some first child, they'll be beating the younger ones as though they are animals. because their parents allow that, their parents enable them to do that. So never make any of your children an authority in your family. The second thing is never compare your children. Do not, for any reason, compare your children among themselves. Every child is unique, so treat them as unique as they are. Raise the child you have, not the one you don't have, not the one you want to have, not the one you wish to have, or the one the next person beside you have. Understand that they are loved and cherished the way they are. It is not about anything. It's not about what they do well or what they do. Whether they do well or not, you have to love them unconditionally. So do not compare your children with themselves or even other people. It's going to be fueling rivalry among them. So they will no longer love themselves. They'll be seeing each other as competitors instead of collaborators, instead of complementing each other where each other is weak and where each other is strong. So the next point there is, do not favor one child above the other. Never play favoritism among your children. Your children are going to hate you for it. Let every of your child know that they are loved the same way the other person is loved. Yes, you can express your love to your children differently, but you have to love them equally. None of them is more important than the other. They are all important and precious to you. When they understand that, then they will know that even when you're correcting them for doing something wrong, that it is from the place of love, not from the place of anger, not from the place of, oh, this person is not doing right and they are being ignored. The number 4 thing is create structure in your home. Create systems and structures in your home that tells everyone what is expected of them and the consequences for each action that they take. So that it is not that person A does this and you flog them, person B does this and you say, I will beat you next time, don't do it though. That other person that was flogged the last time will feel pain, will feel unjustly beaten, will feel like, oh, mommy did not beat my brother or mommy did not beat my sister, but beat me. Why? So when there is structure, they know that it applies to everybody. It is not unique to one person or the other. Of course, your disciplinary strategies to different children, depending on their temperament, their learning styles, and their love language, should be different. So you have to understand each child and treat them in their uniqueness. So let that structure help you. Let your children know what is acceptable. In this house, we don't call names. In this house, we don't pick on each other. In this house, we don't hit. In this house, these are the things that are acceptable and these are the things that are not acceptable. And when you flout that rule, this is what will be done to you. This is the consequences that will come for you. So that they understand that from inception and know that I should not do this. Not because it is for me, it's not nothing personal, it is generally for everybody. And it also applies to the parents, because you, the parents, need to model that within you and your spouse or you and your partner. Let your children see how you and your partner resolve issues. They will also follow suit. But if you're just saying something different to them and doing something different with your partner, it's not going to bear fruit. Children hear more what you do than what you say. They are imitators. They are like sponge. They absorb. So whatever they are seeing around them, that is what they'll pick up. If your child is everywhere, is chaotic, check yourself. You might be chaotic without even knowing, and they are picking that up from you. Now, the 5th thing is you need to understand that your children needs your attention. So create time to give attention to each of your children. If you have 5 children, you have to create time for the 5 children. Yeah. That is why that's your cross. I mean, you have to be ready to give the time required for each of your children. So create time for your children. Make time. Play with each child differently. Have time for each of your children. You can take 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, depending on how your schedule is. But make sure that each child is getting the attention they need. That way they will not be feeling left out. They will not be feeling like mommy is not attending to me. Daddy is not having my time. When your children feel loved and given attention as they should, it will reduce the chances of their fights. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is build skills into your child. Build conflict resolution skills into your child. Let your children understand. I won't even be able to go into this because it's a lot. And I don't want to make this video too long. So you have to come back for the next video if you want to see the next. And you have to put it in the comment section that you want me to continue on this subject before I can make the next video on it. So teach your children the resolution skills that they need, because they will need it even for people outside. It is not just for them. It is also for the people that they encounter on their day-to-day activities. They need to understand that when I have issues with somebody, it shouldn't end in fight. It shouldn't. I mean, when people say that they must fight in marriage, I can't relate, because I've never fought in my marriage. This is my 5th year in marriage, and I don't have plans to. We have ways we resolve issues. We have things you can never say to each other. You have words you can never use on each other. You have things that you can never do. It is a rule. So that is the same thing you should do for your children. Let them understand that when we are having issues, we shouldn't become enemies. We shouldn't treat each other like we are rivals, or that we have never seen each other before, like we are two parties. Even if your sister or your brother offends you, there is a way to present it. There is a way to talk about it. And part of resolution skills is having negotiation skills. How do you negotiate? You have to teach your children to negotiate. Okay, once you want to get this, I also want to get this other thing. How about we look for something that we both love and get it? You want to play this game, I want to play this game. How about we play each other's game 5 minutes, the other person's game 5 minutes? It's a win-win for both. Communication skills, teach them how to talk. When you're upset, you have to take some breaks, step back, and get yourself before you start talking. So you don't say things you will begin to regret. Because that's one of the issues that even we parents have among our spouses. You say words and you go back and start regretting. So how about taking some minutes and some seconds to yourself and coming back to that issue that you're talking about and resolving it in a better and in a calmer way than to handling it at the speed of the moment when you are saying, boiling with anger and all of that. So I hope this video helps you to know you've learned what parents are doing as a parent to fuel rivalry among their children and what they can begin to do differently to change that and begin to build a more cordial relationship, a loving relationship with their children. Don't think that it's going to go away when they grow up. It is never going to go away. Sibling rivalry doesn't end when children grow. Of course, you are seeing people who fight with their siblings all over the place, celebrities or non-celebrities, everybody. Even in old age, you see parents that still fight with their siblings and push it down to their children continue. It is a cycle. If you don't break it, it's going to continue. So always ensure that you are growing your children to understand, to love each other. Because see, blood is not a strategy for relationship among siblings. You have to grow beyond we are just related by blood to building something else that will make them to stay together. They have to bring value to each other. They have to bring respect to each other to be able to stay together even when they grow older. For me and my siblings, we have a very beautiful relationship. Not because our parents gave birth to us, we also ourselves, but because we are now more important to each other as we grew up. Our parents ensured that they never fueled any rivalry among us. And today we have one of the best sibling relationships ever. We are not faking it. We are not transactional. We love each other genuinely. We look out for each other. We support each other. We push each other. All of that wouldn't have happened if our parents left us to just grow and outgrow the rivalry we had while growing up. So I'm also working on it on my own children to ensure that I never fuel it in any way, because sometimes it can be unintentional. It can be, involuntary, if I may say. So I hope this video will help you today to begin to fuel love among your children and not rivalry. So thank you. Make sure you like this video, comment on if you have an issue among your children that you want me to talk about, or share your own experience on how you are treating or managing rivalry among your children. And please share this video, subscribe if you have not done so, and turn on your notification button so that you get notified of our next video. Until I come your way again, I'll see you, and make sure you continue to stay on this channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you. Bye.